Hi, Hi, everybody. 5 days, I believe. Let's look. And it is August 12th, 2024, 25. Wow. It's almost our anniversary, almost our wedding anniversary. Um, let's see. Let's see if I'm on. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are at day 1836. 1836 days, day in and day out. And it's crazy. And you can imagine and you can see by our posts how crazy it is because we really um, do a lot of research behind whatever we post to bring you the truth, to do the job that our agencies have failed to do the job that our media has failed to do, and to get justice for our son, to get his remains, of course, um, and to hold those that did the absolute worst thing to him, to hold them to account. And that's really hard. That's really hard work when the agencies have individuals like Conal Whetten in there. So yesterday I hinted at the big news, the big breaking news, and then all of a sudden we got a letter today, right? We got a letter from the President of the United States. Not any president. The He's going to go down in history as the best president that the United States has ever had since George Washington. I'm a big George Washington fan. I'm a big George Washington fan. And anybody that looks into George Washington and his 70,000 letters that he left behind for us to understand the founding of our country, um, great president, a great president. And President Trump, um, wow, he's giving him a run for the money. He is a great president. He's just, so it's not over yet. He's only been in office 7 months this time, the 47th president. And we know what the 45th was like. He was absolutely under under mutiny. And you don't want to admit that, right? But it's absolutely true. We have individuals that have loyalties to foreign and domestic enemies of this country, and they don't even think it's an enemy, you know, um, to put first. When you have taken the oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, and you put your own personal allegiances before the allegiance to the United States, um, eh, that's pretty rotten. There's a lot wrong there. And y- so, and I think once we understand that, everything will become clearer and will hold our government to a higher standard, because if they require our allegiance, then they need to also earn it, earn it. And right now, when you look at the extortion, the theft, the grand theft larceny that has been taken place by network infiltrating our government agencies that have allegiances to the cartels, Mexican cartels, to and ideologies that are not in line with the defense of the Constitution. The Constitution has an ideology, right? And if you are more faithful, if you are more aligned with um, a foreign ideology, then you can't serve. You can't you can't serve two masters, right? So, uh, and what am I talking about? I'm talking about Conal Whetten. He's the special agent and the assistant special agent in charge, only underneath John Morales in the El Paso FBI office, FBI field office, right? And his allegiance is to his Mormon faith, to his Mormon congregation, his Mormon leadership. That is where his allegiance is. And I've been saying from the very early on, I've been saying that in our son's um, case of those that hurt Richard, that retaliated against Richard, there's a common denominator. And that common denominator was absolutely being Mormon. The Mormon congregation, the Mormon group. And it's, and I'm going to tell you, they're very criminal. They're up to no good. Very, very criminal. And when we start to explain what Conal Leonard Whetten did and has done and is still doing it, he's still there. What has been going on in that El Paso FBI field office is absolute treason. Is absolute treason. It is so compromised. It is so compromised, and they are up to no good serving foreign and domestic enemies. And it is through whistleblowers. It is through 1,836 days of earning people's trust that finally, and not finally, it's been ongoing. It's been ongoing because El Pasoans have absolutely been giving us very important information that the agencies and the command wanted to keep quiet. Nadal Baim, they did their best to cover him up as just some guy. He's not some guy. And he's absolutely connected to FBI Conal Whetten. Very, very high up, but absolutely connected to the Sinaloa cartel, which is a FTO, right? They're an FTO. Connected to the La Baron, I say La Baron, La Baron family that was uh, that lost their life in November of 2019. 3 women, 6 children. There were men too. But that has a long story. They just arrested a police officer, a Juarez police officer in the security of the governor for doing the hit job on the LeBaron family. Now, that means that the police can become hitmen? Is that what they're telling us? And that's connected because of the common denominator of the Mormons and their privileges that they've had. They have 2 big temples right across the border. So they're transnational. And if you're an FBI agent, you can pretty much take whatever you want over that border. You flash your credentials, and you can take whatever you want over that border. And that we have the information that the FBI were looking for Richard's remains. Oh, we're talking about very early on in 2020 over in Mexico. What? That was always our response. What? And we had that confirmed by the liaison for the Department of State, the DHS liaison for the Department of State, which Jaime Corona. And then we had it confirmed by the Department of State themselves when we called there, and multiple others. Now, with this new information, this makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And it makes a lot of sense on the leaks that were going out for case information. The case status information was going out, was being leaked out to Leilani Hart, to James Courtney Hart, to Tavita Nusa, whose brother is Solomona Nusa, mortuary operations for El Paso, for Fort Bliss, for the U.S. Army. And to Dallas Hart, and to have Conal Whetten be the guy that did this, to leak out, because if you leak out, then they can start destroying evidence, can't they? They can start intimidating. They can start harassing. They can even do dirtier things to whistleblowers that have filed reports. This is so huge, this crime. And, we've entrusted so much into these officials, these authorities. We give them everything. They work for us, and we give them everything. And the betrayal is huge, and they need to be held accountable to the absolute fullest, because of this Mormon connection. There's other cases involved. And it explains why Richard's case is so intertwined with the Walmart mass shooting. Why we have found connections with other cases that I've mentioned on this live stream. It's very clear. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Anicia, for coming on. I'm so, yeah, this whole thing with Conal Whetten has put a damper on this beautiful letter that we have today. And thank you for reminding me to really stop everything and say, thank you so much, Mr. President. You are just amazing. And, August 17th is a big day, because um, there has been a staging ground built now on Fort Bliss. There are um, FBI agents that have been undercover on Fort Bliss. They know what's going on. And we were given indications for the last few months. We have been given indications. There has to be, you have to be very careful when you have individuals, treasonous individuals, traitors like Conal Whetten, like Nieto, right? Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr., like um, George Torres. So you have 3 FBI agents there that are really up to no good. And their allegiance is not to the United States, which means that, and every time I say the United States and the Constitution, I'm talking about the people and the land, because we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we're nothing without the land. And we must be under God. That means we need to have the laws of God, like the sanctity of life, like the respect of Corpus Christi. People think of Corpus Christi as maybe the city or as the Eucharist, but it is the human body. Jesus was very God, a very God, and very man, a very man. He was the human body. He gave up his human body to torture and to death. And that's what for the sacrifice, for the restitution of our sins. And in that Eucharist, we remember and we experience the real presence of Christ because of the human body. The human body that he took on. The body and the blood. The bread and the wine. And what they have done to the human body, to treat it like they do. It's so sacrilegious. And it's such a slippery slope. And look at what they did to the families. Reading through the articles for the crematorium Plenitude, which is it's a funeral home, Plenitude funeral home, in business with these other funeral homes, connected with these transnational funeral homes. And it's also the dumping ground for the cartel of human bodies that are left there for not days, not weeks, not months, but years, where the rats are eating through them, where they still have the evidence on their body of the torture, the cause of their death. The pictures, what we've had to look through for this last month since the 26th of June, right, are absolutely horrific. And this is for what? So they can have their Lamborghini? And they take these bodies, and y'all, the news said that the furnace hasn't been working since 2022. It hasn't been working because they had it turned off. We have now been informed that night of the 26th, when they arrested the two operators there, that they fired up. Others went there that night and fired up the furnace and started burning. Burning and burning and burning. They left those bodies there for years because they had no respect for the human body, no respect for God, no respect for Corpus Christi. None. These are individuals that participate in the criminal trafficking of hundreds of thousands of children. that will exploit the American system. You know, they live in the United States. They live in El Paso. They live in El Paso, high on the hog, because they've exploited not only the Mexican system, the Chihuahuan government, but also in the United States with the help, the leadership, the direction of individuals like Conal Whetten. And they live in El Paso. The owner is hiding out in El Paso. He has a house that's right beside Beto O'Rourke. He has many houses, many cars, and not just any car, very expensive cars. And yet he couldn't turn on the furnace and respect the bodies. No, he left them to rot, to pile up, didn't even bury them. Let the rats eat their way through it. Let the stench grow and fester. All the while making commercials saying how much he cares that they should use his funeral services and giving families urns full of, one lady said, mortar dust. Mortar dust. I I know what mortar dust is. I know what mortar is because of our stone building in Ireland. It's finely ground stones. Fine. That's what they gave back to the families that had paid the money, or they had advertised that, oh, we'll do it free. And then uh, nothing is free for them, let me tell you. They exploited the system to make taxpayers pay for it, and yet they didn't even do it. And then they're engaged in every kind of trafficking, every criminal trafficking, every kind of fraud. Saying, uh, it is absolutely. I am so happy to get the letter from President Trump and know that God has given us an opportunity with this president. The absolute restraint that President Trump has shown for the last 10 years, being a billionaire himself, the restraint, the humiliation that he endured, the attacks that he endured, the intimidation, the threats, the assassination attempts, his absolute patience, the character that he has shown to get to this point, not just the patience, but also to plan legally and honorably how to bring our country back to law enforcement, to the rule of law, while addressing the infiltration of cartel operatives within our country and system, exploiting our system, within the media that is day in and day out hypnotizing people against our country, against one another, The whole Walmart mass shooting false narrative was to put a divide between people, that it was all a lie. It was all a lie. And for President Trump to know this because he has intel, and to also have the resources to respond in a unlawful way, and he chose not to. He chose to work his, and I have to say it, work, I won't say it, to work so hard to earn the vote of the people against all odds. It has been an amazing thing to see. And we are so honored to get his letter. So honored. And yes, we have worked knowing, because we've endured ourselves and our family, a little bit of what he's endured. And yes, Richard lost his life. Absolutely. The ultimate price. And we have just tried to stay. It's been very, I don't understand. We don't have the resources. Thank God we've had to absolutely do everything through the law against lawyers that are up to no good, against media that are up to no good, that have agencies like Conal Whetten, that were absolutely working against us with resources that we didn't have, but we had you. We we had the people. And even though they shadow banned us, to get this letter to say, yes, we're going to get accountability to the fullest extent. And knowing that we still have work in front of us. That's the tricky part about being President Trump, because he can't say, I'm going to do it for you. We have work that we have to do together. Because this infiltration has been going on a long time. They're pretty deep in. They're deep in the system. We could never even believe the evil that Angela Kachurga did, Kathleen Gannon did, Bob Moore did, that it was way beyond just the reporting and the false news, that they actually participated in the targeting of Richard since 2019. Now, that in itself tells you what powerful whistleblower reports that he courageously submitted that would get those individuals so tied up into knots that they would plan retaliation against him using the cartel. So, yes, thank you, Anicia. Thank you. We are really happy. We have a lot of work in front of us. But this has absolutely been a fantastic day, a fantastic day. And we haven't stopped. Like, we got the letter and we just kept going because we have been getting so much information in. So we know that things have changed because of all the information that we're getting, like this. Because um, and we're going to release more of the information, the connections with Raphael Quran, um, of the Plenitude crematorium, rotting body, um, funeral home that they were charging people, the connections with Conal Whetten and Raphael, the connections with Conal Whetten and um, those that are in the Walmart mass shooting, Conal Whetten and the prime suspects in our son's case. We're going the all the conflicts of interest, and it is a huge day with those things happening. It's just a huge day. Martha, thank you so much for your prayers and your love, and God is good. Absolutely. Um, yes. Danielle, thank you so much. I'm so happy Trump is going to demand justice for Richard Halliday and family. Absolutely. And it's the a big day is August 17th. That's when the staging ground on Fort Bliss is going to be officially open, active, and President Trump has ordered the military to fight, fight, get accountability by holding the cartel accountable, cleaning out the cartel operatives. Um, Absolutely. He was asked in a report like, "Oh, are you going to go to Central America?" And he's like, "What do you mean? You know, there's so many I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was saying that there's so many cartel, groups in Central America, and that's their problem. They have to deal with it, right? His aim, his focus is the United States. We have them in the United States." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God." So, it is really a good day for our military. It's a very good day for El Pasoans, because they really do have a front row seat to one of the most historic revamping of the judicial and law enforcement um, agencies there in El Paso, um, holding them accountable, uh, individuals that have been there for decades, causing trouble for decades, and requiring so much money from taxpayers. Look at Joe Spencer with the open checkbook. Look at these long delays in these cases. 6 years for a plea deal, millions and millions of dollars from taxpayers. Sorry, we want our money back. We want our money back. You haven't given us honest service, and now we know why you haven't given us honest service, why you have deprived us from honest service that we charged you to do for us. We're not lawyers. We're not lawmakers. We're not law enforcers. At least I'm not. I'm busy doing the things that I do. And I should have trust in our law enforcement, trust in our intelligence community, trust in the judicial system. And they've betrayed us. And so there is a need to clean house. absolutely clean house. So, El Pasoans that have prayed for this for a long time, they have a front row seat to one of the greatest times in El Paso history. I really feel that. Um, thank God that Veronica Escobar has no preemptive pardon. You know, that's why I wrote that. Dude. Thank God she doesn't have a preemptive pardon because she's one of the big narco politicians. And so it's been a great day. Lots of information that we've been going through to confirm the treason of Conal Whetten. And I can tell you right now, he has betrayed America. He has betrayed America. He has abused his position for decades. He's been there for probably 2 decades in that position. And he has betrayed us. So, it's all coming together. Then also, uh, bones have been found at the Plenitude Crematorium even after the Semaphore, which is those that were in charge of taking out all the human bodies and looking for all the human bodies. And yet more bones are coming up. More bones are coming up because they didn't do a proper search. um, which tells you that they're complicit. Well, we know that Cesar Haragi, the AG, is complicit in this. We know that he is tied to the Sinaloa cartel. We know that the PAN government now in control, the PAN party government now in control of the governor's office, like Maru Campos and her mother, Maria Eugenia Galvan, that they are Sinaloa cartel, that they were part of the operations. Her mother was, allowed this operation to continue for for years with no oversight, no license, no, it was totally unauthorized. And knowing that it was in association with all the transnational um, funeral homes that are connected to El Paso, that are connected to Fort Bliss, and she allowed that to go on. So this is an international breach, crisis, crime, criminal network. Um, I'll leave it to the legal community and the law enforcement to well, maybe I can't. Maybe I have to identify the crime and document the crime and submit the crime, file the crime. Um, that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been doing, and because of and I can't even tell you how many filings we have submitted. And I don't think it was an accident that we received the letter today because the President Trump has, from President Trump, because President Trump has authorized the military to go after these cartel tied narco politicians and the cartel that have infiltrated and exploited our system and even went into our military, right? So he has authorized that now, and that will be hopefully functioning, maybe not fully functioning, but functioning, because the Senate, they are really blocking appointments and everything for the president, and of course you see the Democrats there and in the Austin State House in Texas, um, carrying on like big babies, because they don't want the redistricting. They don't care about their constituents. They care about their seats, their their perks and their paycheck and their seats. They don't care about the constituents because they act so fast, right? When it comes to this kind of stuff, but when it comes to really the safety, security of our country, of the great state of Texas, they just exploit it, and that has been very, very clear. So we'll see if these arrests actually happen, because I think a lot of what's going on in Austin, knowing those that are involved in Austin, I think a lot of it's theater. A lot of it's theater, but we'll see. President Trump, he has intelligence, and I know he has some intelligence um, to direct Governor Abbott. Definitely, Governor Abbott is. Let's just say President Trump absolutely has information that he can direct Governor Abbott, drive him to do the right thing. Right? Remember that one from Sean Bernabe? They have to be driven to do the right thing. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Really exciting times. Staying up. There's no time to sleep. Look, it's after 1 o'clock, and last night it was almost 5 in the morning before we got everything done, all the filings together. Yeah, and if this our fear, not we're not afraid of anything right now. We've lost our fear. We've lost our fear. um but our concern is that the furnaces were turned back on. um we want our son's remains, and we want our son's remains above every that's our number one goal. And we fought for that, and the army wanted us to ignore that. You see, the army, those that were in Richard's command, that have no respect for Corpus Christi, no respect for the body made in God's image. They just wanted us to shrug it off, to just give it up. And they wanted to force us into a memorial for Richard. But the evidence was so overwhelming that they found Richard's remains, that they had Richard's remains, that they knew what happened to Richard's remains, that he lost his life on Fort Bliss. Where are his remains? And now we have these connections with Fort Bliss, Solomone Nusa, CID, disgraced, terminated CID agent, um, Tavita Nusa. We have the funeral homes that are in contract with Fort Bliss. We have the bad actors that absolutely make sense now why did Chris Martin get involved, right? Why did Louis get involved? Why did Danae Katzen get involved? We know why. We know now. And yeah, our concern, it's going to be, we have our work cut out for us. But we're not alone. We have you. We have, we have you. We have now the President Trump and his administration, and of course we have God on our side. And God's hand has been on this from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Who would have ever thought that we would find out who Nadal Baim was, the Palestinian uh, arms dealer? That's the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bugado of the G3 of the 32nd ATCOM, related to Gustavo Sanchez, the Texas Ranger, and to Manny Chavira, the chief of police of the El Paso ISD. Um, and also totally connected to the Hart family. Who would have ever thought that we would find out who he was? And God's hand has been on all this. So thank you so much. God bless you, and we will absolutely talk more about Conal Whetten, the FBI. He's right there, special agent in charge, the assistant special agent in charge of El Paso, the Mormon special agent in charge, assistant. I need to put that assistant in there. Um, really abusing his position. And it puts the Mormon leadership in a very, very bad place because they knew he was there. They knew all these connections. And when we asked, they failed to tell us. And they failed to do something about it. They let it continue. That tells you something. That tells you something. Let me answer any questions. Great day finally getting to this point. I know. Wow. Whew. But I don't want to slow down, right? I don't even want to slow down to think about it. Blessings to you and all your family. I hope they look into all the unlawful things going on there and their so called suicides. I pray to God things happen at the right time. My two grandchildren were also 21, taken advantage of by the military. God will do justice, absolutely. And this is, there's so many. There's so many, and we're getting a lot of support, a lot of prayers, a lot of people are hoping because Lavina Johnson's family has been waiting for a long time for justice, and you saw um, that Myra Guillen even offered us uh, congratulations today because they don't feel like they got justice either for Vanessa Guillen. And I'm not trying to say what they feel. I'm just saying what they have reported. So yeah, there's many. Asia Graham's family do not feel like they have justice, and there's many others. So we are really praying that this will help all those cases. They have to find Richard's remains. Yes, and we hope that um, there's other whistleblowers out there that know. Yeah. Yes, you've come too far. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, it's all about the insurance. Um, Danae Katzen was saying she's in the insurance business. Others have been in the insurance business. Yeah, now we understand why. They absolutely are fraudsters it's for hell, right? For hell. They're like operating like they're in hell already. Um, no, they didn't do justice for Vanessa. Absolutely. So that was another God thing that they found her remains because we know that the Army, the CID never wanted her remains to be found. So, Yeah, that was something. And what a blessing. What a blessing. So hopefully this will all come together and we can absolutely clean house. Um, thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.